Hi, I'm Richie Zellon, and today's lesson was inspired by the many rock and blues guitarists who have come to me throughout the years with the desire to study jazz guitar and requested something jazzy to play immediately with their existing knowledge. Kind of like a quick incentive while they make the long and often slow transition required before they can truly sound like a jazz guitarist. So along with some simple jazz blues heads, I show them how to easily solo over rhythm changes using the pentatonics that they already know. Before I proceed, it just occurred to me that if you're a newbie to jazz, you might not know what we refer to as rhythm changes. To give you a quick answer, it is the chord progression to I Got Rhythm, a standard that George Gershwin wrote sometime back in the 1930s. And it just so happens that the chord progression featured many of the harmonic cadences that numerous standards have featured to date. The 1-6-2-5-1, of course, stands out and is often used as a turnaround. So many musicians started writing what are known as contrafacts. I think of it as a musical contraband. It consists of writing a new melody over an existing song's chord progression. So in essence, you are stealing a progression and disguising the fact that it belongs to a popular song by writing a totally different melody over it. It's musical contraband. But you know what the good news is? You can't get sued for it because it happens to be perfectly legal to do so. In other words, chord progressions cannot be copyrighted. Anyhow, from the bebop era to the present, along with jazz blues, some form of rhythm changes tune is always played at a jam session. Therefore, it is important for a musician to master improvising over it. So let me tell you what I'm going to do. This lesson is going to consist of two parts. In this first part, I'm going to teach you the basic chord progression to rhythm changes, how to easily play the melody to I Got Rhythm, and how to improvise over the entire progression using only minor and major pentatonics. None of the fancy pentatonics like Coltrane used. No, just the basic stuff every classic rock or blues player already knows. In part two, it's going to get really interesting. So you want to make sure you check it out. I will be showing you how to add all sorts of cool notes to the pentatonics you already know. This alone will make you sound a lot jazzier. Finally, I will also explain and show you the difference between globally soloing with a couple of pentatonics and actually improvising over each chord change. So let me first solo over one chorus of rhythm changes using mainly the resources that I'm going to teach you today. And then I'll show you and explain all the scales and fingerings I use over each chord. Here goes. Okay, so let me show you what pentatonics I used in the solo you just heard. After I do this, I'm going to show you a super easy way to play the I Got Rhythm head. But first, I want to say that this is in the key of B flat, and I might be taking you out of your comfort zone if you're a rock blues player and you're used to playing mostly in natural keys like A, E, C, D, G. But B flat is a horn player's key, and 99% of the times you're going to play rhythm changes, it's going to be in B flat. So you must well get used to it now, okay? Now, what I'm doing in the A section, and if you don't know what the A section is, that's okay. We're going to get into it in brief. What I'm doing over the A section, which is the greater part of the tune, is I am shifting between a B flat minor pentatonic and its parallel major. Now notice I said parallel major, not relative. The relative major would be D flat, but the parallel major to B flat is B flat, okay? So I'm using a B flat minor and a B flat major for most of the A section. So I'm going to show you the fingerings that I use throughout the fretboard, and I'm using these same fingerings and not changing for all the chords that go by during that whole section. First, we have this garden variety minor pentatonic, probably the first one you ever learned. Okay, B flat minor pentatonic. That in turn can become B flat major pentatonic, where I place my index finger here, then I use the 2, 3, 5, 6, again 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. I also do that major pentatonic in third position where my pinky is playing the root on the 6th string. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 1. And I'm assuming that if you come from a blues or even rock background, you know where all the different bending points are in most of these scales, and all your pentatonic scales, that is, okay? So if you don't, well, maybe you should take a couple of steps back and learn the basics of blues. But I'm assuming that that's not the case, and that's why you're watching this video. So let's get on with it. I've also incorporate another minor pentatonic over here, B flat again. This time I've got my index on the root on the 4th string. There's the same one converted to a major. But I don't use that fingering very much. I rather go for the major over here to 10th position where my pinky's playing the root, the B flat, on the 5th string. And also, I use a minor pentatonic off of that same root. All of those riffs come out of that fingering. And finally, I use a minor pentatonic over here. 13th position, and this time I have my root on the 5th string. Which is the same as 1st position. So that's what I used for the A section. Now, for the B section, which is the bridge, I start out here, and the first chord is a D chord, D dominant, and I use a D minor pentatonic, the basic one with the index on the root on the 6th string or 1st string, and then we go to a G chord, and there I shift to a G major pentatonic, and I use the one over here. If I'm starting with the D over here, I go to the G over here. Bear with me. I'm going to show you how all of this comes together and how it relates to the chords in I Got Rhythm. Just bear with me a little longer. So the first section here in this bridge is so I'm improvising, let's say, over the D minor. G major. Now, to end the bridge, I perform the same sequence. I go down to C, which is the next chord, C dominant, and I play a C minor pentatonic. And then I go to the final chord, which is F. And for the F, again, I play a major pentatonic. And notice I have my pinky playing the root. So I'm in 10th position. And again, F. So the whole bridge, minor pentatonic over D, to G major, then to C minor, to F. That's the bridge. Now the C section, which is the last part of the song, is identical to the A section, to the last 8 measures of the A section. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to play you the clip of me soloing. You're going to watch me solo over it again, and this time we're going to look at a slow version where you're going to see each pentatonic labeled where I'm playing it, and you're going to see the chords that are being played in the background. So you understand how all of this is being applied, okay? But stick around, because right after that, I'm going to teach you a super easy way to play the I Got Rhythm head. You got to know the head so you can solo over it afterwards, okay? So that's important too. Here goes. Okay, so before I teach you the I Got Rhythm head, I want you to hear it. And I want you to hear and watch how I play it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to this major pentatonic. We're going to place our index here in 10th position, and we're playing a B flat major pentatonic. The pinky is playing the root on the 5th string. And it goes like this. We're starting with the 5th here. Repeats. Now, in the video that you just saw where I played it, I do some bends to just make it, you know, bluesier. Okay, so instead of I go. So you can experiment with that. Either play it simply like I played it first or incorporate some bends. That's up to you. The bridge is here on this D. Goes from the D to the E, very simple. And then to the G on the 3rd string. So, first part. And then you just go back a whole step back to the C here on the 1st string. So the bridge, once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then it goes back to. That's the head. Now, I want you to keep your eyes open because in part 2 of this lesson, which I'm going to post in the following week, I'm going to show you how to incorporate some very interesting notes to these pentatonics that I just played. And that alone is going to make you sound a lot jazzier without having to learn any complicated scales. I'm also going to teach you how to play outside, how to take these pentatonics and create some tension by side slipping. I'm going to teach you how to resolve it and all that good stuff. So check it out, part 2 of this playing rhythm changes for rock and blues guitarists. See you next time. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. If you want to learn more, I want to encourage you to visit my website, jazzguitarrichiezellon.com. There you'll find hundreds of free lessons with downloadable PDFs and MP3s. You can also register for my newsletter and instantly receive a free copy of my book, 20th Century Jazz Guitar, featuring dozens of transcriptions of phrases by the most influential players in the history of jazz guitar. And as if this were not enough, you will also receive 3 videos where I teach you my favorite phrases from the book. So don't miss out.